What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Bob Blunders. I'm Bob. Today we're going to continue day 2 of our rapid rating climb. So we're going to do 15-10 today. I normally like to play 10 because it's a little bit faster, but I know it's a lot better to improve to play a longer time limit. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Hopefully we get the white pieces today. We had black yesterday, and we do. Okay, I'm going to start with the London system. That's kind of what I've learned and what I've started with so far. So since he's attacking our pawn, I will go ahead and okay. So normally I would bring the bishop out, but we can't because he will take it. Let's see if we can just take that pawn, because if he takes, we're defended. So yeah, I guess we'll just take it. I'm already out of the London that I was hoping to play. We're already outside of that, but okay, and interesting. So he's going to bring his knight to e7. I think I should continue to develop normally. And actually, if we still kind of go for the London system, he's offering a draw. England Gambit. I'm a little bit confused. I'm going to decline the draw. I don't know what to play, though. I suppose I'll just... He keeps offering me a draw. Okay, I kind of got thrown off by that, so I don't know. I mean, it's probably a bad idea because we're not going to get our normal London pawn structure now. Okay, attacking bishop. So we need to defend the bishop, which we normally would play this anyway. So I think we can do that because we can't defend it with anything else. So let's defend the bishop with our e-pawn. He takes. We will take back. This is a very weird start to the game. Very weird. Okay, brings out his bishop. Attacking the weak f-pawn. Potentially he has a check option there as well. I'd like to bring out my bishop, but then that doesn't defend our f-pawn. I don't really know how we can defend the f-pawn other than bringing the queen out or something. I'm definitely a little out of my element here. And do we want to push? This is just way too open. I think we need to castle quickly, so I might bring out our bishop. I hope to castle soon. The question is, where do I bring it? I mean, normally I would bring it here with the London. We can't pin because he hasn't brought out that yet. We got time. Okay, I'm used to 10 minutes. We got a little bit more time, so I can think this through a little bit. I think I just need to bring out my bishop. I don't see what's wrong with d3. It'll be defended by this pawn. I thought about earlier, pushing this pawn and, I don't know, doing something, and I have my queen here. It's very interesting to have the queens open out like this. Okay, let's just play a developing move so we can castle. I don't know what else to do at that point, and he castles, so that was our plan anyway, and now this pawn is actually defended. Okay. If I take, he takes back. Or we could leave this here, this pawn chain we have, because we do want to develop more. We don't want to let him push. So if we're not going to take it, I don't really want to let him push that either, because then I'll get control of these squares. So if that's the case, we could just bring our knight out to c3. And that looks pretty good to me. Does he have any big weaknesses? No. I mean, he's already castled. These files are both half files, so these could get opened up pretty quickly. I wouldn't mind bringing this rook out at some point before he does, especially if he takes. So if he takes that pawn, I can take back with my pawn or the knight. If I take back with the knight, he can take. So either way, he can take. So we'd probably want to take with the pawn, and then if he wants to take, then we'll do that. So let's bring out our knight. I think hopefully that's not a bad move. I'm a little confused about him or her spamming the draw offers here. Don't know what that was about. But okay. Queen can come out at any time. We've dealt with that a lot lately. Um, yeah, things could get tricky with them bringing out the queen. Okay. And they're bringing out the bishop. I hate when they push this side where I'm castled. I'd like to connect our rooks and maybe move this one to the e file at some point. So what's a good queen move? Probably need to get our pawns involved more too. This one's pretty weak. Maybe we can defend it with... Maybe we'll just put our queen here and then later move this rook here. And then we kind of have a battery lined up on this e file. So I like that. Defends extra defenders here. Our knight's defended. This pawn is not defended. Interesting. Brings the queen forward. If I take, he would take back with his pawn or his queen. What? We could bring our queen in and attack his knight, but do I want him to move his knight? Does he have any tactics there? This pawn's undefended. I could pin his knight, but the problem is with pinning the knight to the queen, I always get this deal where they just kick me. And then what do? Do we take the trade? Or do I just go back? And then I end up getting my bishop pushed back again, oftentimes. So I think I'd rather bring my rooks into the game. Then maybe we can pin it if it's still there. Of course, I said I was going to put this one on the e file, but both of these pawns are weak here. So if we can just get our rooks in the center, of course they can do the same. In fact, they're kind of lining up the same thing I am with their queen being there. All right. So he's going to pin me. So what's our options? Well, okay. We could also pin them right back. We could move our queen so the pin is not a factor anymore. Or is there any other threats? Well, we have a check there, but I don't see what that accomplishes because the king will take back. Again, we can pin. Knight to d5. That's a good square for it, I think. But it wouldn't really be defended, and there's no tactic there that I see. We don't want to move this knight. It's pinned. So, move the queen. We could pin him as well. Then move our queen. Or what I was just talking about was annoying to me was getting kicked. But then this is that's different for him than it is for me because I don't want to move this pawn near my king. So let's just pin him back because we're running out of time. Yeah, so I can kick his bishop, but then my king is weaker. So that's a little bit of a problem. And yep, he's going to kick me. Do I just want to take the trade? Let's see what we have here. Take. I really don't want his rook to come down into the game this way either. So we could move the bishop back. It's defended by the queen for the moment, but we do need to move the queen if we're going to get this knight involved. So, of course, we could push, and then if he takes, we'll take. But, okay, so yeah, we really just wasted a move. I guess that was a bad idea and then he can still, attack my bishop here. So, this is where I get stuck here. I didn't get to do my normal London system. Not that I'm any good at it, but yep, and he does. So, let's see. What about the bishop goes here? Pin the rook. Attacking this pawn, but I really would like to get the knight involved if I'm going to do that. But I have to protect the bishop. So, and then if I move the bishop here, I can't move the knight up. This is very tricky situation for me. Wow, if I'm gonna end up moving this bishop back again, I really don't want to because I want to have. I like this diagonal here. And maybe we can now bring the queen here. I'd like to get the knight involved. This knight would be great to bring over here. Then we've got a lot going on. So I need to move the queen. And we still wanted to get this rook out to the e-file. So we've got some issues here. This is, I think I'm rated like 477 from our last win. So and when I was playing before, I played a couple of games before, and I was around 550. So, okay, they're just gonna push the pawn. We could take the free pawn. We could take this pawn. We could go back to here. We could get our queen unpinned like we talked about. And what does that threaten? Well, he could just push again and kick me. I don't like that. Yeah, because I could take and then he could just push again. So I'd rather get the queen out. Seems like a bad move with some sort of fork. I mean, yeah, my queen could already be forked. I really don't know. I'm at a loss here. This is where I get stuck. I'd like to still bring this out now that he's not. Well, now, I mean, my knight's just pinned to my rook. Okay. I was concerned about that. Let's see. Nope, that's not a good move. Well, we gotta save the bishop, so there's no square that saves it except for this one. And we're attacking his knight. Yeah, I feel pretty lost here. I'm just kind of making random moves that I feel are just positional. So, okay. Should we take with the pawn? Then we're going to have a triple pawn. That's not good. We could take with our bishop. I kind of like that. It gets our bishop out of trouble a little bit. Or we could take with our queen. And I did have ideas for the queen to start harassing here, but I had hoped to do that with the help of that knight. So, that's tricky. I kind of don't mind taking with the queen and getting it somehow lined up over here. So, let's take with the queen. And we still are protecting the bishop, which is good. Okay. Ooh. This is interesting. If we take this knight, we're attacking the queen and the rook. Of course, the queen can just take, but then we can take with our queen and be attacking that rook as well. Of course, he'll take our pawn, but I think I like taking this knight. He can just take, and then we can take his queen, and he can move his rook. That's fine. Or There's a couple different options they have. Let's see what they choose to do. I'm at a massive time disadvantage. Hopefully all this thinking through things will pay off, but it doesn't seem like it at the moment. Oh, I guess so. I mean, they didn't have to lose their queen there. That wasn't a yeah, I mean, they could have just put their queen to safety. I would have been able to take the rook, and then they could have taken back. So it's not like they blundered their queen or anything. I'm a little surprised they resigned, because I felt like, yeah, once I won the rook, then we lose the bishop. I mean, they have their queen. I mean, it's still pretty even. So let's do a quick review, and maybe we'll play a quick 10-minute game since that one was cut a little bit short. But we got a nice win. Hopefully, getting all these wins doesn't. Ooh, what'd that put me at? 600. Okay, I feel like I'm probably around a 600-ish, maybe lower. So I expect to start losing some games soon. But you gotta think, the last game we won on time, and this game they resigned early. So yeah, and I mean, look, I had 54 accuracy and 300 game rating. Now only 0 blunders. I like that. That's good. One great move. So let's take a look. I was winning. Okay, so I was winning though. Yeah, the engine says I was winning all game except for there. But okay, we take control of the center. I wanted to play the London, which normally I would bring the bishop out first, but since they're attacking my pawn, we had to defend it. So I brought the knight out before bringing out the bishop. They attack my d-pawn, which I didn't like, because now I can't bring out my... I definitely can't bring out my bishop to f4 because they can just take my bishop. And, yeah, so I decided to take. I guess that was a decent move. And then they just brought out the knight. I finally brought out my bishop. Okay, that was a mistake. So I could have taken a free knight. Let's see how I missed that, because I definitely missed it. Oh, my God. That's one thing I tend to miss in the early game is I'm really not used to having any of the openings I play where we bring these pawns out. I'm not used to them getting exchanged immediately, and I have to start remembering that if that happens, queens get exposed, and I just simply overlooked that. And I think I was still rushing, being used to the 10-minute time control, so I just got to remember that checks captures threats. So I should have looked around and saw that, you know, we have a capture, a free piece. So we missed it. Yeah, we missed the opportunity. I don't think that was a great pawn move either, because I was trying to still go for the London, but we're not going to get the pawn here, and this just feels awkward with my bishop being blocked in. So, okay, then they take my bishop. We take back. Then we just sort of develop. I didn't know where to put that bishop because, again, it's supposed to hide inside the pawn structure here of the London, but we couldn't do that. Okay, I castled, but we could have won a pawn, so yeah, they castled. And let's see, surely we were going to lose our bishop, but end up getting their bishop back and winning a pawn. Let's see. Well, hang on. That's how we won the pawn, but why wouldn't... Why wouldn't the king just take my bishop? Because of this? Okay, I guess we just chase him out. But wait, even there, he could just go back. Okay, so I don't really understand how that's winning a pawn. Because I expect at my level, they're just going to take my bishop with their king. I mean, that's what I would have done. Even though maybe it draws the king out. But it's not like my queen's sitting, you know, right here. Or, you know, ready to move here with the help of the knight. So, I don't know. Okay, we'll keep going. They pushed the pawn. I didn't know whether to take it or not, but it just seemed bad to just take it and then have them take back, and then we've got this open file, and either one of us have the opportunity to take control of it. So I wasn't really ready to capture that pawn, I don't think. Okay, that's a mistake. You're now able to force weakening the pawn structure around the king. Let's do the follow-up to that. Man, yeah, I really did want to get that knight out there. But I just thought that the queen would take... Nope, okay, because I had this pawn there. All right. Okay, queen comes out. That's a bad move. My best move was to force the weakening pawn structure. Okay. You allowed the opponent to pin a knight. Yeah, which is what they did. They pinned my knight. Oh, they did it later. But actually, they did it after they got help from the queen. So this is another thing I need to focus on is stop looking down so much. And when I say looking down, I mean I'm looking down to the bottom half of the board, so just my pieces. And I need to start looking up more at their pieces and see what's going on with all these. So, okay, I guess that was a good move to develop my rook and bring it out. I also thought about bringing this one out here. They pin the knight to my queen. And then even later, when I move my queen, it's actually pinned to my rook. So, okay, yeah. Threaten checkmate. Yeah, which they did kick. But where's threatening checkmate? Okay. I did... Yeah, so wow, if I move the queen here, and they just attacked it, that's mate in one. I mean, I had ideas in my head of doing stuff here, but we missed that for sure. So, they pin. Yeah, that's right. I was taking too long, I think, on that one. What did we take? Yeah, we took a whole minute to decide to just pin and get kicked. And I gotta be done. And I know it's part of the Carl Khan too. So I try to do it a lot when I play the Carl Khan with the black pieces. Is that you come over here and pin the knight to the queen or king, and every single time I do it, I get kicked. I move back. I get kicked again. I move here, and then if they push again, well, I have to try to come out, or hopefully I have this pawn push so I can come back here. So I don't know. This whole pinning the knight thing hasn't worked out for me yet. Definitely not in this case. So yep, they kicked the bishop. I just move it, and it was better to bring it here because what did I do? They kicked it again, and I moved it back. Wow. Okay. Yeah, what's the tactic they had? Because I was very worried about that knight. Okay. Yeah, when I was thinking about that, how this knight could come in and it was going to have a lot of pieces that it could fork, but I thought in my head, well, we can just take back with our knight. If it moves here, we're okay. Oh, but then I would have lost my queen. Yeah. So, okay, I should have looked at that more carefully. If the knight came in, it's basically forking all of these pieces. I cannot take back without losing my queen. So the best option would have probably been, if it had come here, what, to just move my queen and defend? I'm not sure. Okay, they push the pawn. And, okay, so I should have pinned the knight with my queen. Yeah, okay. Not sure what that accomplishes, but I was still thinking something over here. But I didn't really have a good plan for that. All right. Okay, so they resigned. I'm glad I at least found a good tactic right there at the end before they resigned, which was that we weren't necessarily going to win their queen, but we could have traded for the rook. So that was my plan, was we get the knight, they don't want to lose their queen, so they're not going to recapture. If they do, we'll just take the queen. If they decide to take my rook, then we get their queen. And if they don't move this rook out of the way, we'll get that rook too. Or they drop back to move the queen to safety. And then I was willing to lose my bishop for the rook. Although I don't know if that was a great idea, because really what I probably should have done is dropped back here, slid the queen over, and gone for that checkmate on h7. So, all right, that's the game. I need to get better at this whole reviewing thing, and it's difficult for me to talk while I play. I'm still getting used to that because obviously I'm a beginner, so it's hard enough to think through my thoughts anyway because I don't even know what the right move is. But hopefully I'll improve as we go, and this is just sort of a fun rating climb anyway. I don't really care what my rating is, the number. I just want to improve. I think we may play another 10-minute game, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and maybe we'll put that one out for tomorrow. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.